And now we are about to be live on. Here we go. So we're
I
live.
love that you're live on everything.
I'm live. Come on over. Sit down. So we're gonna talk to. Oh, there you are. Look at that.
I'm gonna
Look
go
at
live
that.
too.
So we're live. Hey, everybody.
Hi,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. Yeah, I know you're all gonna show up. You can feel free. This is Facebook, so you can type whatever you want to type in.
Okay.
I look fat. First thing I'm gonna say, I always say that, but it's not true.
This is
The
good.
camera just makes us. The camera is not fair to women.
It's not fair to me either right now, but it's early in the morning, and I
So
don't
in the
feel
morning,
like
early in the mornings, we look different.
Yeah, I feel like our faces are swollen, and it's just the whole morning look.
From
It's
sleeping.
cold. Yeah.
Oh, I never thought about that. Are you serious? So because of that, so look, we have people joining us. Hey, everybody, nice to see you.
I haven't even told them what we're talking about. I haven't told anybody what we're. I didn't even tell anybody I was doing this, but they're gonna get into
But
it.
hey, so this is Kawan, right?
K1.
K1.
Yes.
K1. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Somebody said something. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, that's my listener, my viewer from the UK. So
Hello,
thank you
all
so
viewers
much.
from everywhere. Can we
From
talk?
everybody. We're just going to talk. This is the show that we're going to talk about it. So
Okay.
this is the Let's Talk About It show. Kawan is the host of the Let's Talk About It show. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. He's on Twitter. He's everywhere.
Yes.
And he's a former male sex worker.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we're going to talk about this morning is HIV prevention.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
But we're also going to talk about straight men who have sex with male sex workers.
Yes.
We're just going to talk about it. We need to talk about it. It's part of us. It's a part of our sexuality. We're humans. Mm-hmm. And we need to talk about men who do this. Why aren't they coming out? Why don't you just tell your significant other, or you don't have to tell the rest of us, but at least be honest and true to yourself. So Kawan is going to tell us about himself, how he got started, and I want you to tell us everything. Just like everything? You did. Yes, I want you to tell us. This is a free forum. We're not monitored by the FCC, so we're not going to say anything like how people use whatever. Okay. I just want you to tell from the depths of your experience. How did you even become a sex worker?
So I remember being I believe I was in high school. Mm-hmm. I was in high school, and I was getting into this thing which is called the ballroom scene. And the ballroom scene it's this platform where people, they showcase their talents. Mm-hmm. They come from all walks of life.
Right.
However, I didn't want a job because it wasn't gonna go with everything else that I was doing. So being in the ballroom scene, there's a certain type of lifestyle. Mm-hmm. It's a fast lifestyle. There's drugs, of course, there's sex workers. And so I was around a lot of sex workers at the time. And one of my best friends, actually, she was a sex worker. Mm-hmm. And she kind of told me, she was like, God rest her soul. She told me, you need to make you some money. And so I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I really wasn't into it at the time. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, you know what? Why not? I'm handsome. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it pans out to be. Mm-hmm. So I had my first, she made me at the time what was called a back page. Uh-huh. She made me a back page, and I had my first client. Mm. And it was really simple. It went just like that. I was around the environment to where escorting was okay. And so I did it. And so that got started. I did that for about a couple years. Definitely before I got my job. It was like right at the time where I was leaving high school and just getting into adulthood. And I was feeling like I was growing. I wanted to do my own thing. Mm-hmm. And it didn't come from a place to where it was like, well, people think when they think of sex workers and they think of escorts, they think that they're from a bad background. I definitely didn't have a bad background. Right. It's just I wanted to be grown and I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So, and that's what I did. And that's how I got into it. It was like the environment that I was in that made me want to get into it.
So it wasn't driven by a need, like some people get into it because of, economic need. It wasn't driven by that. It was driven by the fact that you felt you should take advantage of whatever opportunities.
Yeah, it was because I wanted fast money and I wanted to live this certain type of lifestyle. And in the ballroom scene, you are traveling state to state. Mm-hmm. It was almost every weekend, and you need effects for your hotel. You need clothes. You need food, and you want it fast. And a job at the time wasn't going to comply with that. So it was what everyone was doing, and that's what I did. And another thing, as I said I think we should tell them how we met and how this whole conversation got started.
Well, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So the way that we met, I had a conversation with the Big Bear
Brotherhood.
The Big Bear Brotherhood
of Detroit.
Yes, of Detroit. They had a conversation. We were talking about male sex workers and the meth addictions and things like that. And we were kind of sharing our experiences. And I want people to know that people that are in the sex field, the sex working field, it's not all bad. Like I would never portray my story when I was a sex worker to be bad, because it wasn't a bad experience.
But maybe you came out on the good side of it, because I've heard some horror stories.
Yes.
So maybe you just had a really good experience. But I know the way we met, we connected at a seminar on HIV in the male sex worker community, former male sex workers, but particularly amongst Black males who are homosexual in Detroit. That's how we met. So we were at this forum and we met, and men were talking about their experiences and how they contracted HIV, or if they don't have HIV. But it was an open forum.
It was an open forum.
It was an open forum, and people talked and shared.
Yeah, and what brought the conversation on was there was a guy found dead in California from a politician who was a Democrat, and he had the male escorts come out, he had them strung out on meth, and that's what brought this whole conversation up. But don't you think that that's a relevant talking about this, because male sex workers in Detroit rarely do have. We live in Detroit, so we're going to talk about what happens here in Southeast Michigan, right? Male sex workers in Detroit rarely do they have access to the resources that they need. There is a certain pattern, or should we say there's a certain place where they congregate mostly. So people who are looking for sex go to that place, or there are apps. I've been told that there are apps that people use to find sex workers, right? Yes.
Talk to them and tell them everything, because here's the thing. There are women in this audience who don't know.
So
right?
For the women,
so you might see your boyfriend, your man, your husband, or whatever in his phone, and then he says he's gone, and you don't know that what he just left you, had sex with you as a woman, and he just left you and made an appointment to go have sex with a man. That has happened. Tell us about that.
So I see that with your viewers, you want to give them an insight on what this looks like, and you want to let them know what to look for. So we're clear. Okay, so I want to make sure that
we'll be clear when this is done. We might be shaking a little.
I want to be clear so I can have a visual, so I can give them an idea of what they should look for. The first thing is, a lot of men, they don't want to, because I know that you said you wanted to talk about why they do it. Why they do it. So there's a lot that comes with it. There's such a stigma. There's still a huge stigma. Even though the world is so accepting of people of the LGBT community, there's still a stigma. There's a stigma in the church. There's a stigma, especially for people of color. So that's a lot of it. They're afraid that they're going to be turned away by their whole family. So they portray these fake lives. They get married. They have children. They live the ideal male life that you're supposed to live, because they don't want people to know that they actually like to have sex with men. So there's a huge stigma that comes with that. And I think that for women, one of the main things that they should look for is, right now we're in a world of technology. There are a lot of apps on the phone. There's apps such as Jacked, Grindr, you have BGC, you have Scruffed. These are apps that you want to look for on your husband's phones. Definitely, you want to look for these apps, because these are the type of apps.
I'm going to get a list.
These are hooking data apps that gay men use to have sex, to meet, to mingle, to network, to connect. So definitely check those out. We want to use, again, Jack and Grindr are like the main two. Jacked and Grindr. These are male dating sites. When you go into your app store on your phone, just type in gay. Type in gay social networks. You'll find everything that you need to find. If you see these type of things on your man's phone, let me say something. Can we talk?
Yes, talk.
Okay,
Be free.
Okay. When you go in your man's phone, go on the app store to see if these have already been downloaded. Because just because it's not on the phone, that doesn't mean it hasn't been downloaded. Wow. You need to go on the app store and see if if you have an iPhone or if you have an Android, you need to see if it's ever been downloaded before. Because if he is straight, these apps should have never been downloaded, ever. Go, and I tell this to people who are in relationships as well too. And and even if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't have to be a detective. But if you are suspicious of your partner and them being gay or curious, a lot of people like to use terminology as curious. Go into the cookies, the Safari, go into the cookies, go into the history, see what they've been looking up. Go into the cookies to see what they've been looking at. Go and see the history. I guess I was a detective at one point. Go into the history to see what type of porn that they've been watching. It's not just a lot of men, they don't identify with being gay because a lot of men, they have sex with trans women. A lot of men like trans women. A lot of men like to be penetrated, but they don't want to be penetrated by a guy like me. They would prefer to be penetrated by a woman because that in their head, that still confirms them as to be straight.
Are you kidding me?
They would still identify as straight. A lot of men do, and it's a big conversation that I don't want to touch on because it's definitely not my place. However, I do feel that heterosexual women should know about that because that is when I want to go into the transmission of STIs and HIV, because not knowing and being in secrecy and making it a secret, a lot of times you don't use protection. You don't think about it because then it is an adrenaline rush, and you're trying to do it so fast, so you don't really use protection. You're trying to go in here, you're trying to bang, you're trying to get out, so you don't protect yourself in the proper precautions.
That is eye-opening because there are a number of things there that caught me as you talked. One of them was that a lot of men who have sex with men, right? Or they pretend to be normal because in their minds they're living in a community or in a society where they won't be accepted if they come out as gay, right? So they want to have sex, or I should say they want the sexual experience of being with a man, right?
Yes.
So they want penetrative sex. In other words, they want to be penetrated by someone. So they like transgender men who dress like women. So while they're having sex, they want to pretend that they're with a woman, but the woman has a male organ.
Yes.
That's basically what you're saying.
Yes. But there's a difference in men who dress like women. That would be a cross-dresser. A cross-dresser, yes. So then
what's a transgender woman then in this context? Who's that?
But there are some men like cross-dressers too. But I want to do the proper terminology. But trans women, they have taken hormones. They have had different surgeries. So, that type of thing.
Oh, so a transgender woman is somebody who has committed to changing her sexual,
her physical appearance,
her physical appearance, and her gender the way she was born. Okay, okay. So there are men who like that, but what about a man who does not identify like that? He doesn't care. He just wants. He knows he lives with his wife or lives with his girlfriend or whatever, or but he wants to just have the experience. Is he still gay? Is he still gay, or is he just curious? Who's a curious person?
Do you think he's gay?
I think so. I think once you have sex with a man, you're gay.
Me too.
That's what I think. Wow, you think so?
Care.
Whoa! You think so too? Wow.
Yes, I think so
wow.
Too. I think that.
So there is no such. So do you think there are bisexual people?
Yes, I do believe that.
Okay, I don't believe that.
You don't think so?
I don't think they're bisexual people.
A lot of women, they play. I feel like there's more women that are bisexual than men.
I can kind of see
but are people open and honest about being bisexual?
Thank you.
A man is not going to. Some men, they're not going to be in a relationship with you and tell them that they've had sex with me before, because that would make you. Because you want to know why? Because we're going to get deep into this conversation. You want to know why they don't want to be open and honest? Because would you date a bisexual man?
No.
And that's why they don't want to be honest, because they don't feel that women will want to be with them if they told their truth. So this is where the stigma come in. This is where the secrecy come in. And then that's where the disease comes in.
Oh my God. So you see this? So there's the stigma, the secrecy, the stigma.
I like that.
And the disease. You need to write that down.
I'm gonna definitely look
at this. Guys, this is it. So my point, the reason I'm having Kiwana on is not to talk about this just because Harriet is having a bad hair day or I just want to talk about this. The reason I'm talking about this is in the event there is someone listening who is at that threshold where you are accustomed to having sex with men while you're in a full-term relationship with a female. I need you to be free so you can come out, because I want you to understand that the secrecy covered by the stigma, has led to a disease that you probably don't know you have yet, or you probably suspect you have, but you haven't been to the doctor and you haven't told your partner.
And then also women that are listening, to my women viewers, you all are blessed with women's intuition, and you want to use that. You are blessed with that. We all are blessed with intuition, and we have that gut feeling, and you know when something's not right. And for you to ignore it is irresponsible to yourselves. It's irresponsible to your health. It's irresponsible to your families for you to ignore those type of symptoms because you don't want to have that raw conversation. A lot of times, men have sex with male sex workers, trans sex workers because of the discretion. You can pay someone to have sex. It's easier for you to pay them to have sex, have no connections, and go about your daily life versus being in a relationship with another guy. He's texting your phone, he's causing problems, he's showing up at the house. There's a detachment when you're dealing with sex workers. There's a detachment and there's a convenience in that. And so that's why a lot of men choose to do just that. And I have honestly seen it over and over again to the point where sometimes when I was in the sex working field, I used to feel like, wow, like how, you know, and part of the reason I got out, how is my karma going to be when I know that this man is on the phone with his wife and he's lying and I see this, I'm watching this happen. This, and then you have to remind yourself, well, this has nothing to do with me. I don't know him. These type of things, but this is what's happening. And I think that is important. That's why now I feel like it's important to let women know, not on a level of exposing these men, but on a level of informing these women.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because here's the thing: if there is this thing where you have to be true to oneself, right? We all should be true to ourselves, right? We all should ensure that we exercise some level of truth and transparency to ourselves, but also to our intimate partners. I feel that we have a responsibility to do that. And if you're a man, because it's less exposure for a woman to have sex with another woman and then go have sex with her male partner. Most AIDS and other transmittable STIs are not transmittable from female to female contact. I don't know how that works.
AIDS can be transmitted.
Right.
HIV can be transmitted.
HIV can be transmitted. I learned something new today. So HIV can be transmitted from two female partners, but not AIDS. Why?
I'm sorry?
Why?
Why what?
Why AIDS? Why not? If a female has AIDS and she has sex with another female, that female won't get AIDS?
So this is how AIDS works. AIDS is AIDS is something that happens when the immune system can't fight off
HIV, and it can't fight off infections.
It can't fight off infections, so HIV can become AIDS. HIV can be transmitted. What happens with AIDS is when the T cells, they get below 200, that's when you are diagnosed with AIDS. So understand that there's a difference between HIV and AIDS, and I want to kind of speak a bit about what I do now. I'm a community outreach specialist for Unified HIV Health and Beyond. I'm a prevention specialist and an outreach specialist as well, and we do a lot of work. We're located in the Fisher Building. We do HIV testing, syphilis testing.
Really? So hold on. Give the name of the organization and the location. Okay. So folks, this is all covered by HIPAA. It's covered by privacy. So if you go into this organization to get tested, they're not going to call. They're not going to tell anybody. They're not going to take it to Facebook. They probably, by law, they have to notify all the partners you've been with, especially if it becomes AIDS, right?
And you would say HIV.
Okay. Because people really have AIDS today because of medicine.
No. Yes.
Right?
Okay. And we're trying to get rid of terminologies like AIDS because we're really seeing it and we're getting people into treatment.
That's the thing. So the medicines are working. The medications are working. Okay.
Yes. And so my agency is called Unified HIV Health and Beyond, and we're located in the Fisher Building. This is here in Detroit, but there's agencies everywhere. We do syphilis testing, gonorrhea testing. We test for syphilis. We test for chlamydia. And some of the things that you guys should know about HIV is I want to break down how HIV is transmitted.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Okay?
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I want to talk about it. Let me drink some tea. Guys, I'm going to sing some tea. Tea. Linda, I need some tea after this. Kiran, I need some tea.
HIV, it's transmitted in a couple of ways. Of course, through semen, pre-semen, vaginal secretions, and vaginal secretions is when is when women are wet. So those fluids, that's how it's transmitted. Anal secretions, when guys think that they're wet. Of course, when a woman.
Anyway, let's not talk about
No, let's talk about it. Let's have that
what
conversation.
What is anal secretion? I thought the only thing that your anal secretes was poo stuff.
No. So when you're being penetrated, let's say good, or maybe not so good, but the anal does form these fluids. They form fluids. And see, what happens is when you're being penetrated, let me explain why this transmission happens. When you're being penetrated, whether it's anal or the vaginal, what the penis does, it becomes a vacuum. So once you ejaculate into these parts, the penis, it starts to suck up all those fluids. So whether it's the vaginal secretions or the anal secretions, it sucks it up. And that's how the virus is transmitted that way. And then it can go the other way as well. When you ejaculate into someone else, the virus can be spreaded that way. It can be spreaded that way too. So both ways it can be transmitted. So I recommend, a lot of people don't use condoms, and this is not the best safety mechanism, but it is one. You can pull out. Another way that HIV.
But why pull out at this point because you have pre-seminal secretion.
You do.
So why pulling out is?
You shouldn't be having raw. You shouldn't be doing it raw anyways.
That's right.
But if we already there, this lowers your risk. But there's still the risk because there is the pre-semen. HIV can be transmitted through pre-semen as well. Also, if a mother is HIV positive and she's not on her medications, then it can be transmitted that way either. And that's why it is so important. Oh, of course, in another way, injection drug users, sharing needles. These are things that you don't want to do. The reason that is really
a cigarette either.
No. The reason that it's so important to get tested and know about yourselves, because first of all, ladies and gentlemen, you have a responsibility to yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
You have a responsibility for yourself. And this goes with you finding out about your partner and what they're doing. But it also, everything falls back on you. You have to take care of yourself. You need to know what is going on. So get tested for yourself. Get tested because the medications today, HIV is not a death sentence. You can take your medications and you can become virally suppressed. When you become virally suppressed, this means that your CD4 count is up, your viral load is down. Your viral load is down. This means that you cannot transmit the virus. You can't transmit the virus. This stops more infections. And this prevents you from becoming sick. So once you start taking these medications, you become healthy. You are unable to transmit the virus. This is what we want. This is what the message is. This is what we're trying to get across to people. This is called U equals U. This is called U equals U. So this is why the disclosure laws here in Michigan have been changed, and in some other states too.
Really?
Yes, the disclosure laws have changed. If you are it is called undetectable. If you are undetectable, then you don't have to disclose your status because you are not at risk of exposing the virus to anyone else.
Wow.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a good thing, but anyway.
In
the interest of public service.
What do you think?
You know what I mean?
Well,
in the interest of public community health. Think about it.
Yeah. What do you
think about that? If you're undetectable, it doesn't mean you don't have the virus. It just means your T cells are probably low, right? It's not. Here's how it works. It's like if you think you're pregnant, right? And you go to do a pregnancy test. You think you're pregnant, but your pregnancy hormones are so low, it does not show up on a traditional pregnancy test, right? But you still are pregnant, right? Now, it's the same thing with this. You still have the virus, but it's not showing up. It's not enough hormones in it to show up.
I don't think we should compare it to that because I don't know much about that.
Yo, you don't know about pregnancy.
No, I don't know about pregnancy, so I don't want to give the wrong information. But what I'm saying is, you do still have the virus, but you can't transmit it.
Oh, that's what that means. So you have the virus.
You do still have it.
What prevents you from transmitting it?
Because the medications suppress the virus. So it makes the viral load go down to the point where it can't be passed on to anyone else. So if we're to be clear then, I'm getting it now. If you have the virus, right, but because of the medications, it has suppressed it to the extent where you can't transmit it to someone else. And you won't become sick. So you don't have to disclose it to your partner. Yes, you don't. You don't have to tell someone. But can we talk? Yeah. If you had any integrity, you should tell them. I would.
If you have any integrity, if you have any compassion, how about that?
But see, this is again, a lot of people don't want to disclose that information because if we're just going to just boom, boom, why am I telling you? You know what I'm saying? If it's not going to be that, but then that's where you use protection. But then again, people don't disclose. People that aren't virally suppressed, they don't disclose. So it's important for you to again take responsibility for yourself. Take responsibility for yourself and protect yourself. And another ways of protection is PrEP. At our agency, we also have just opened up a PrEP clinic. And
what's a PrEP?
PrEP is pre-exposed prophylactis, and this is it protects you from pre-exposed prophylactis. It protects you from HIV and only HIV. So you take this pill as long as you're going to take it. When you stop taking it, it stops working, but it protects you from HIV. Want me to break it down for you?
Yeah.
What it does is it takes the immune system. The immune system is like this. Is how I talk about it. It's like a shield to the immune system. So we have the immune system. PrEP, once you start taking PrEP, for men, it takes about, actually, I'm not really sure how long it takes to get immune system, but I know it's shorter for men. Women have to take it longer. I know women have to take it for at least about a month. So basically, it's like a shield around the immune system. It shields it. So when you come in contact with someone who is HIV positive, it doesn't allow the HIV to get into your system, and it doesn't allow it to multiply.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah,
so you can also, that's a form of medication.
It is a medication. It's a pill you have to take every day, once a day. So
so if you're engaged in other words, your PSA, your public service announcement is anybody who is having sex anally.
No,
right?
You can take it too.
Anybody. So all of us? So
everybody,
what are the side effects?
And
everybody should take this PrEP
everybody who is having sex and they are at high risk, and
if you're a high risk, I mean, define high risk.
Right. I was going to get into that. High risk is that have you ever had a STD in your life? Have you ever had unprotected sex in your life? Do you have multiple partners? If you are any of these things, then you are at high risk.
You're at high risk.
And I think that this is not on the record, but for me, I think that everybody's high risk because I think everybody should take those type of precautions if you are in that type of lifestyle.
Well, if you're in that lifestyle, but for most of the general population, the problem is the secrecy. That's really the problem. The stigma and the secrecy.
Yes.
The secrecy is what's killing us. Because here's the thing: if you are having sex with a man, whether it's a sex worker or you have some dude on the side or whatever, because people do that. They have their dude on the side and they take them in their truck and go do whatever. They don't go to a hotel or whatever. Right?
Or they take him into your house.
Or Lord Jesus.
Yeah, let's be very clear. They take him right in your bed.
Right in your bed while you're at work, huh? They do that.
Yes, and it's so unfortunate.
And you will never know.
No.
They'll put up a nanny cam. But
who, the thing about that, who wants to do that? Like, if you feel that your partner's cheating on you on those type of levels.
But come on, you have to understand. You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know because a person who is struggling with their sexuality is not going to reveal, who is not comfortable disclosing it, is not going to reveal to his female significant other that he's having sex or he desires to have sex with men. He's not going to, and if he is having sex with men, he's not going to reveal it because of the stigma. So the secrecy is created by the stigma, and the disease comes as a result of it. Yes, so he's not going, if he chooses to have sex in his home with her, guess what? He wants her to know. He's hoping she will find out because it will take the burden of discovery off him. But what I wanted you to tell us, when you were a sex worker, did you come across men who were normal, straight men, right? Who have a profile in the community and who were just like, dude, I'm not really gay or anything like that. You ever had any of those encounters?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. That's what I want to talk about.
I lost my virginity to a pastor.
Oh, God. Jesus.
And I didn't even know he was a pastor.
Oh, yeah.
I looked in the back seat of his car and I seen the Bible. Then I seen all of this important church stuff. And I'm like, wow. And I asked him, and he's a pastor. And what's so interesting is we still are friends to this day.
He's here in town?
I'm not going to disclose. Oh. He is married and he has a daughter. And I'm in a relationship now. But he still tries to make passes. He still tries to see me and different things like that. And I think it's really, really interesting, the type of men that I've run across in my life. And that's not the only pastor. And so these are men that you really, really wouldn't expect them to be these type of people or have these type of desires. But it is definitely happening.
I kind of knew that was coming, but I didn't know it would come this quickly. in the conversation, but I knew it was coming. So what makes a what makes a man? He's a pastor. He has everything to lose. No, he has everything to lose. Why would he choose to have sex with a sex worker?
This is what I'm telling you. The discretion. That you don't have to. I'm not your boyfriend. I'm not going to text you. We're not. There is no ties.
There's no ties.
There's no ties. There's no tracks. And so a lot of times these men have Google voice phones and things like that, like the Google number. So it's not even their real number.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So the clandestine ways in which they do this, I am so tapped out right now. Hey, can you all tell? I don't have a word to say. I am so tapped out because I can't believe it. But what about normal men? Just a normal dude who just...
What's a normal man?
A normal man is probably somebody who's married or in a committed relationship. He just works somewhere, whatever he does. But, he has this thing that he can't shake. Either he's having, he might have had an encounter when he was a child, right? So he hasn't shaken that. Have you found that? What about those situations?
And see, I don't want to give them that pass. Everyone doesn't have that story where I was touched as a child or I was raped. A lot of these men, and let me tell you something about being a gay man. It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of confidence. You have to be really bold to do this type of lifestyle, because I think that when you think of a man, I guess you're thinking, oh, he's a man, he's strong, he's masculine, he's these type of things, but he's actually getting penetrated by this flamboyant guy that you don't perceive to be a man. So when in terms of speaking about what is a man, you want to be very careful with that,
right? Because
if you were truly a man, men should be strong, and being strong is living in your truth. That's being strong to me.
Like you,
So
living your truth.
I do look at these men as pathetic and weak, because you are wasting this woman's time. You're building this family that you don't want. You're not sexually satisfied. You're not satisfied, and you really want to be with a man. So you're just going to try to play both fields, and that's being greedy. That's being greedy, and that's not being fair.
And that's not being healthy either, because the opportunity to transmit. What would you say to a young man who there are two, I don't want to give it away, but there are two young men around me whom I have had developed some sort of a relationship with recently. I can't say how they're connected to me, because then that would give it away.
Okay.
But they are, one of them, they're both struggling with their sexuality. One has admitted that he's bisexual, right? The other one says he's just straight out gay.
Okay.
But on deeper questioning, he has never had an encounter. Maybe he's not being truthful. What would you say to them? Because the people I know are...
The first thing I want to say is it doesn't sound like they're battling. It doesn't sound like the one that's gay. It doesn't sound like he's battling. What makes you think that he's battling?
I don't think he's battling at all, but he doesn't know how to... His greatest battle, he doesn't know how to tell his family.
Oh,
he lives with his grandmother.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God, indeed. And she has not a clue. The rest of us know, because he does tell us, but she has not a clue.
Well, you want to know something?
Yeah.
Is it, and this is for me. This is from me to you. Mm-hmm. Is it her business to know?
I think no, but here's the thing.
Okay.
When she's his family, and she's his nurturer, maternal figure.
How old is he?
He's 18.
He's 18. Yeah. Is he this? Okay.
He's a sweetheart. I should probably send you to talk to him.
I'll probably.
You want to do that?
I would definitely. I wouldn't mind.
I would. Because that's one of the things that emerged from that forum that I went to. The people who were with me at the time said, there are two people we can think of who definitely need your counsel.
A lot of this is...
But talk to folks who probably have a son or a nephew that they're observing.
I love your accent.
She's Jamaican. I can't shake it.
She's Jamaican. Why not? So,
and talk about that. Listen, he has a story to tell. His cameo, his ways. You want to talk about that. But talk to people who are perhaps have a son or a nephew or some male relative who might be on the brink and struggling.
So this is the biggest fear, because if it was easy to tell our families and our loved ones that we were gay, then we wouldn't have these men who were scared to come out. We wouldn't have these men who were so afraid of this stigma, because the greatest fear is that they're going to be turned away. Yeah. They're going to be turned away. They're going to be shunned away. They're going to be exiled out of family. When I come to the family reunion, it's going to be these whispers, or I can't even come to the family reunion, or I can't even eat off the same place as you. Now, I'm not saying these things. These things have never happened to me, and I thank you, Lord, for that. However, I have had friends who had to come live with me because of their sexuality, because of who they chose to be in life. So a lot of times these people don't want to tell their families because they don't want to be pushed away. This world is cold. So guess what? When you push them away, oh, he's gay. Oh, no, I don't accept that. I'm not around that. Guess what? They turn to the lifestyle. They turn to what is depression. They turn to what is drugs. They turn to sex workers because they have to fend for themselves. They have to provide for themselves. And that comes with a whole nother world. And this is all because what started at the core of things, which is their families. This is a family who just couldn't accept that I choose no, because I'm definitely not going to use that type of terminology, because I am gay. You don't want to deal with me. What is the problem that I am gay that you have such an issue with? My brothers are, this is not my story, but this is things that this is people of color. These are things that we face. You're okay with having sex, not being married. You're okay with my brother being a drug dealer. You're okay with my brother dogging this girl out, having all these babies he can't take care of. You're okay with the bum uncle who doesn't do anything. All of these things are okay, but you can't deal with me being gay. You can't deal with me living my truth and be who I want to be. So I'm exiled of the family. So now I have to go on within my life knowing that my family did not accept me. So now I'm looking for acceptance in all of these different areas, whether it be a man that's not going to treat me right and show me the proper love, because I don't really know what love is, because I wasn't able to receive it from my family, because my family just couldn't take that I was gay. What is that stigma? Now, let's talk about this. You're Jamaican, and I definitely do know the Jamaican culture, and I know that
Lord have mercy.
Jamaicans,
are homophobic, yes.
Very homophobic. It's definitely not accepted, and you can definitely... Where does that come from, and what is that like?
I think it's to be honest with you, it's a deeply religious sect. It's a deeply religious thought process within the Jamaican community. Now, I haven't lived in Jamaica in over 25 years, so I don't know if we have evolved. Has Jamaica evolved? No.
Do you know what the I don't want to say it wrong. Is it the gully or the gutsy where they put the people that are gay, where a lot of the gays in Jamaica they hang out at in Kingston?
I don't know if that. When I lived there, it hadn't happened yet.
Okay.
So that happens. But what I do know, it comes from a strict observance of Genesis, where it says, and in Leviticus, where it says it's an abomination unto God for man to be with man. It also says so in the New Testament, in the book of Ephesians. I think it's Ephesians chapter 1 or Ephesians 5, right? It does talk about these shall not inherit the kingdom of heaven. Right. So when you look at what the Bible says, Jamaica is a very religious country. Right. They believe in God firmly. They will always speak to the Father. They will always call on the Father. Absolutely. When you look at how they perceive themselves within the context of humanity and creation, then they observe that part of they observe that part of it very strictly. When I was growing up, it was not unusual for homosexuals to be mistreated. But here's the disconnect, though. When I started modeling and was in beauty pageants, all my friends were gay, right? In fact, to be honest with you, I was taught modeling by a well-known gay man. He saw me walking on the street, and he called me, and he said, you need to be part of my group. And he taught me how to walk as a beauty queen and how to walk as a model. He later died. I think this was by this time was like 19, he died from AIDS. And he was so ostracized by his community, he actually died. I can't talk about it because he was such a nice dude. He didn't deserve it. He actually died from AIDS and lived in a cave.
This is in Jamaica?
Yes. But wow, that was 20 years ago. I'm sure they have evolved because there are people. Yes, I'm sure they have. They haven't. Well, you're probably just saying.
Yeah.
You're probably just saying that, but seriously, I don't want to throw a knife in their hearts, but it comes from that deep religious background. Just like here in Detroit, where you've mentioned that there are pastors who seek to have sex with male sex workers, because of the fact that it comes from that deep religious background where I can't come out. Who is, I believe, I'm not sure if he has been tried yet, but he killed a transgender woman. Remember that? This happened back in December.
Yeah, she was a friend of mine.
You knew her?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So he was on his way to work. You know the story. He was on his way to work and he stopped for his morning delight.
Yes.
And according to what he told people, I don't know, he told people that he went to he thought he was having sex with a woman.
No, he didn't. He didn't think that. He dated one of my other girlfriends before too, and that's
when you say girlfriend, you mean female or
no.
You mean transgender?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm used to talking to my viewers, and I'm talking to other people. We have to give you guys a little bit of what's going on here. We're here at the Detroit. This is the Foundation Hotel, and we're live on a lot of platforms, and a lot of people are watching. A lot of people are listening. A lot of people in different countries as well. So I'm excited about that. From Turkey, so make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, Mr. _ Let's Talk About It. Make sure you follow my YouTube page, Let's Talk About It Show. Follow me on Facebook. I talk about a lot of different things that are going on within the world. However, when I say my girlfriend, it was another trans woman that he also had dated. And this is my thing with these guys that pretend like, oh, I didn't know. I thought she was a woman. Let's stop the bullshit. 6 Mile and Woodward is a very known area, predominantly with the LGBT community. Trans women work there. And this might be a plug to some men because they want to know where the trans women are. They want to go see them. You understand what I'm saying? You think it's funny? It's not, because this is true. This is what happens. You go out there night, summer about to break. Watch this. 6 Mile and Woodward.
Roll down there one summer night.
I'm probably going to do a show down there this summer because I think it's important too.
Yeah.
6 Mile and Woodward is a predominantly area where you can find people who are sex workers, trans women, gay men who are looking for people. They're looking for dates, and the dates are looking for them. So we all know this. Why were you on 6 Mile and Woodward at that time? And why were you at 6 Mile? Weren't you supposed to be going to work? How were you at 6 Mile and Woodward? And what were you doing?
6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
What were you doing? You knew what you were there for. Let's stop it. Let's just stop. Like, you knew you were looking for a trans woman. You knew what she was. But then when things get ugly and they don't go as you thought they were going to go, we have to resort to, oh, I didn't know she was a woman and that's why I did it. That's not the case. You don't want people to know what the real situation was. Again, we're still lying. Someone has lost their life because you wanted to sit up here and lie. Wow. You see how deep this gets?
Yes.
It gets this deep.
Because if he had just come out, then he wouldn't have killed that woman.
This is what I'm saying. But this is so, and for you to understand, and for your viewers to understand, this is how deep the stigma goes. Jesus. This is how deep it goes. You don't want someone to know this bad. There's been many cases, and it's so unfortunate, of trans women being killed because of possibly the man being exposed. Men don't want people to know that they want to be penetrated so bad that they're willing to take lives. Lord they're willing to lie to their whole families and live a whole different life. And men battle with this. Some men even kill themselves because they just can't deal with it. They just can't deal with it. And for the life of me, I thank God for the confidence and the strength, but I could never live anything other than my truth and be myself. But I think that's
you in that.
Yes, God bless you too. And I think that's because of my mom, but it's what we're being taught as children, and we have to have more compassion for our people. Yeah. We have to have more compassion.
For young people when they're coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, when your sons and daughters start emerging and tell you that they think they're gay, or they think they like the same sex, or they think they like Ashley instead of John, or they think they like John instead of Ashley, for the love of God, please, I am begging you, talk to them. There are resources available that can help you to navigate it. As a matter of fact, there is a center right here in Detroit, the Ruth Ellis Center, that is built specifically for children who ran away from home because their family members did not understand why they're gay. And then after some time, there's a fusion. There is some sort of communication developed between the children and the family members in an effort to understand this. That's here in Detroit. And these centers are replicated throughout the country. It's not unique just to Detroit. But the point is, don't live under secrecy, because secrecy leads to stigma, and stigma leads to disease. We're going to do a graphic on that.
Somebody just asked a really interesting question, and this is more so to the gay community, but I want to ask you too. A lot of people be like, I don't care if my son gay, long as he's not getting fucked. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you?
All right. Well, let's explain what is being gay. Okay. Gay means I desire to have sex with the same sex person. Mm-hmm. So whatever the sexual routine that they're going to pursue, it doesn't matter. You know why? Because they have a desire to be with someone who looks just like them. Mm-hmm. Someone who is anatomically made just like them. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether they're penetrated or they're penetrating someone. It doesn't matter. It's the desire to be with someone of the same sex. That's the secrecy, and that's what's creating the stigma. And that's what we need to remove, because it's taking lives. Like this woman who was killed on 6 Mile and Woodward by a man who was a pastor. I am told he was on fire. I am told he was a preacher, like he could preach. That's what I was told. And his.
But like I just told you,
he was dating someone else. So now I get the story. So he was dating another transgender woman. And he's lying to the community, including his family. The man was married with children. In other words, what I'm saying is, walk in your truth. Be yourself, huh? Listen, you first have to accept, just like as people of color, they tell us that our color is no good, don't they? Right? That's the society. That's the subliminal messaging from the society, that because you're a person of color, you're not strong enough, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not anything enough.
And then we can go into colorism. The darker you are, the uglier you are.
And all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But you have to still walk in your truth. What if this is the way you are made? If this is the way you're made, accept it and deal with it.
What if? Let's talk about this. Why would anyone want to choose? Because a lot of people think that there's this perception that you're not born gay. You choose to be gay.
Oh, you think people are born gay?
Do I think people? I was born gay. Like, why would I want to live in this life?
When did you realize you were gay?
Me and my boyfriend had this conversation last night, and he was saying this when I knew something different from me. For me, I never didn't think that I like guys. From kindergarten, like my little friend, I liked him. Let me tell you something.
Maybe you liked hanging out with boys, dude.
See, look at you trying to define.
No. I'm not trying to define.
Let's have this conversation, because this is what happens, and this is the problem. You're trying to understand it in your way, and I'm telling you what's going on, and you're still trying to define it. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. I'm telling you this.
So you're telling me your experience from you were little. You're saying from as long as you can remember. You never desired a woman.
Like girls. Oh, okay. And so this is the thing. Another thing, aside from me saying that I was born gay and things like that, who would choose this life? Who would choose this life of getting disowned from their family? Mm. Who would choose this life of not being good enough on a different level? Because it's one thing to be black, but to be black and gay, or to be black and trans.
That's powerful.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Why would you choose to be in this life? To choose you can't get a job because you're so feminine, or you can't get a job because you are trans, or you can't get a job because you're gay. Mm. Why would I choose to be this? I can't go in like when I was in high school into gym, like when I was in high school in gym, I told them that I do have asthma, but I used that to my advantage. So I wouldn't even have to go into the locker room, because you're a child in your high school and you're gay. You're gay at a young age. The boys that's not good. You're getting beat up at school. All of these things that happen aside from you being gay. This is a whole nother problem that people have. Oh, you chose to be gay. You chose to be gay. So you feel like I chose to want to get beat up in school. You feel like I chose to be at such a high risk to get HIV. You think I chose for my family not to want to deal with me any longer, and I'm left in the world myself. No, this didn't happen to me. This didn't happen to me. No, my family loved me. I was able to be who I wanted to be. I had a good. I ain't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? I had a good time. But I speak for my people, and I know that this is what's going on. So when you think to yourselves and you speak those words that people chose to be gay, think of all the hardship that they have to go through. Like people that think that like how we have to go through everything being black. We didn't choose to be black.
No.
But we have to go through all of these hardships, these trials and tribulations. So when you think that a person chose to be gay, think of all the bad things that they have to go through. Think about why we even have a gay pride, because we have to create our own world. We have a whole world in the gay community. We have our own world because we're not accepted in society.
Which society? Black society?
Definitely not the black society. Let me tell you something. Okay. We're really not accepted in the black society.
That's true.
We're really not accepted in the black society. If you notice, people who are white people,
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that to their kids.
Yeah,
they don't. Oh, you got to get out.
Mm-hmm.
If a child want to be playing with Barbie dolls and stuff like that at a young age, they let them be who they want to be. And look how those gay men grow up to be. These Andy Cohens and these great gays that everyone sits up and watch. You sit up and watch Atlanta Housewives and you love Andy Cohen, but your son is gay and you don't want anything to do with him.
Oh.
So this is what I'm saying. This is the conversation we need to have. So you tell all the ladies that's on your platforms and all of the men, think about these things. And I like to use words like compassion, even if you don't understand it. That's what my show is about, is to gain understanding and to open your mind up and be able to get a different perspective. We're going over.
Absolutely. No, we're good for another 5 minutes. We have 5 more. We have 5 more minutes. Any questions?
I'm getting a lot of stuff.
All right.
Black men aren't accepted in the Black community. Girls always get a pass. That's true. Oh no, the blacks don't like the gays. So we accept lesbians more? Oh yes.
So the Black community prefers lesbians over gay men.
Listen, the rappers always, she got a girl. If you hear some of the rappers, their references, they always talk about girls. Like, it's always the girl or girl thing that's so hot, that's so sexy, that's the attractive thing. But then if a guy and a guy, it's like, oh no ma'am. Those fags. So we accept the girl on girl thing, but don't let her be too masculine though, because then it's, she's trying to be a man. That whole thing. So yeah,
cultural perceptions in the Black community affect.
Yes, such a true statement.
Another question.
A lot of people saying they've been gay. Mm-hmm. I seen a comment earlier in the is it in the Bible? So many people are in denial of that. Shaking my head.
We're just commenting.
You love the rapist, you love the killer, but not the gay man.
Whoa! Say that one more time. We love the rapers, the killers, the ones who beat up their baby mamas, the ones who kill, but we don't like our gay sons. We don't like our gay sons.
Like when a lot of people, when someone goes to jail, be like free Ray Ray, free Damon, free whoever. If you want to free them, and that they did it. He been selling drugs and giving drugs to the community and killing people, but we want him free because his drug money buys us these nice things. But again, the gay boy he better not come over here. He better not call me. And this is real stuff that actually happens. And it's unfortunate.
Wow.
How do I respond to my little brother? What's to come out? Someone asked me this.
Talk about that. So there's a question here about how to respond to a little brother, his little brother.
So this is the thing.
So how do we get them? How do we talk to them?
You talk to them and you say, this is your little brother still. There's nothing. I don't understand what the big thing is. We don't look at people when they're straight and say, oh my God, like nothing's changing. I'm still who I am. I like what I like. And my life may be a little different from yours.
Yeah.
And it's really nothing. Love them. Love them the same way you've been loving them. If not, love them a little harder because they're about to have a pretty rough road.
Wow.
It's love.
So love makes a difference.
Yeah, we need love. Everybody needs love.
So what do you say? So let me ask you this now. So what do you say to Christians who are Black, who don't believe in homosexuality?
Well,
what do you say? Is the message love? Do we still are you telling us that we should love? What do we do?
Yes, you should, because in the Bible, it also talks about all type of sins that are going to happen, and God knows the sins that you're going to create, and really no sin is greater than the other. It's not your job to have that type of judgment. It's your job to still love. It is your job to still love. And I'm a person that we recently renewed my faith, and I've been going to church every single Sunday. And I like the church that I go to, and it is a predominantly heterosexual church. But I don't think no one knows that I'm gay though, because I just go to praise and worship, and that's all I come to do. And I come to thank God. I thank God all the time. I like to bring God into this space, but it's not your job to judge upon the sins that I make or the sins that you think that I'm making, because I can't judge you off of yours.
Wow.
Because a lot of times, you shouldn't be having babies before marriage, and that always happens. And we don't think about that. We don't care about that. That's not a problem. You understand? So it's like that's not your job to feel that you need to make that type of judgment. All you need to do is the child that you had, you need to love your brother, your sister. You need to love your nephew. You need to love them like you love the other, the straight ones. That's all it really is.
Well, we've come to the end of our show. We have to go. So tell us, Kawan, where we can find you. Kawan, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me on
Don't you love him?
Mr. Let's Talk About It. You can like me on Facebook, the Let's Talk About It show. You can also like me on
Slow
YouTube.
Down. The Let's Talk About It show on Facebook is where you can find Kawan.
Yes, and the Let's Talk About It show on YouTube. Mr. _ Let's Talk About It on Instagram, and my website is the letstalkaboutishow.com.
All right, you're gonna come back and talk to us sometime?
Absolutely, whenever you need
All right,
me.
the
Thank you
next
so
time
much
we
for
do
having me.
Yeah, no problem,
I really
sweetheart.
appreciate it.
The next time we come back, that is going the wrong way. But anyway, the next time we talk about you come back, we're probably gonna come back for a sit down in the evenings, and we're gonna talk more about young people.
Okay.
Young people who are struggling and how parents and family can help them to emerge.
Okay.
I'm not saying your son or daughter is. I am just saying that if it happens, then there is a conversation that needs to happen around it to coach the person so they don't end up, because as Kiwan says, it's a rough ride for the rest of their lives, right?
Yes, it is.
It is a rough ride. Thanks, everybody. Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much for
everybody.
joining us. We thank you for being here. Bless you. Talk to you tomorrow, right? Are you all going to come back tomorrow? We'll talk. Thanks so much, Facebook. Be blessed, everybody. That was something, wasn't it?
It was. I didn't even know it was going to get that deep. It was good.
Dude, you hit it. I'm still stunned. I'm still stunned. I have to, oh God, I'm going to probably go back. I got to go get this. No, this is